Welcome to the process. It is Wednesday, January 5th. I am Josh Engelman, and I am here to break down a pretty big one. 11-game NBA slate ahead of us. Lots to talk about. We're going to take probably a good hour and a half to get through this, if I had to guess. Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe there's not a lot of weird stuff that we have to break down, but I assume that there is. So, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Go follow me on Twitter at Josh Engelman. I hope you guys had an interesting Tuesday. Not the best day for me from a DFS perspective. It was fine. Nothing too crazy. Didn't expect Julius Randle to be the highest scoring player on FanDuel, getting ruled in like a half hour before lock, but it's where we are. So, whatever. It's fine. Didn't have enough Fred VanVleet yesterday, although he ended up being a little bit less important given his price tag by the end of it all. Jared Allen, Ja Morant, Devin Booker, all solid. Just kind of a pedestrian day in comparison to what we have seen as of late. Not really the crazy scoring. Only 4 guys north of 50. Like LeBron didn't have a particularly good game. Dwight Howard popped off with the best per minute rate of the day. It's always fun. The guy that you don't think is actually going to play once he's not named the starter plays 21 minutes and drops 41 fantasy points. Those are the good days. Biyombo went crazy. That's another one that's really dumb. Jalen Smith got hurt. That's why you play those backup centers. But that's pretty much it for an intro. I think we need to just dive into it. So let's start here. Rise and grind, everybody. You guys know why you're here. I got my coffee. I'm very excited to have some. I've been good about not drinking any before it started. I want my first cheers to be a legitimate one. So grab your coffees, teas, waters, beers, whatever you got. We're here this morning breaking down NBA DFS. So cheers to you guys. Let's get it done. Let's win some money today. That's good. Yeah, Sabonis played 39 minutes, dropped 27.6 FanDuel points, 0.71 FanDuel points per minute. That, my friends, is not very good. Not good at all. Alrighty. Well, let's do this. We'll turn on some music. Get the background tunage going. There we go. And let's talk a little bit about Prize Picks before we get started. You see the banner, top of the screen. Awesemo.com/prizepicks-promo. You get 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum, deposit bonus. We've got free Prize Picks tools on the website at awesemo.com that will help you out. We're not worried about putting together fantasy point lineups. You're basically making parlay cards, over-unders on any individual stats, actual fantasy points for that matter. You put 5 in a card, get up to 10x your money. That's not too shabby either. So good morning to everybody. Chris, Damian, Ronald. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's do this. First game up, Detroit Pistons, 9.5 point dogs in Charlotte, 227 total. And it's looking like the same guys that have been out are still out, so we might not have to change this rotation all that much. We saw Killian Hayes played 24 minutes. Saban Lee played 13, which is interesting. We got the run we sort of expected out of Cade and Sadiq Bey and Hamidou Diallo. Thor, no, never any discussion. I don't get the sense that it would be that big of a revenue driver. And Ronald Jones, no, I don't play cash. Not for any, like, I should is probably the easiest way to say that. I should, but I don't. I mean, I think I'm okay with this Killian Hayes minute split, but maybe we'll go 26-22. We got the 35 minutes in for Diallo. I think that's, maybe 34, and we take Cade up to 33. Josh Jackson played normal run. Trey Lyles got the start, played 34 minutes. Luka Garza lost that time. So I'm going to take Trey Lyles up to 9 now. And it doesn't look like Luka Garza played any additional time. So let's do something like that. Sadiq Bey's 36 minutes make the most sense. Rodney Magruder didn't play. They went to Justin Robinson instead. So I will give Justin Robinson a decent chunk of time. And then Micah Potter did play 3 minutes. Not all that concerned with Micah Potter playing 3 minutes. So let's do something like that. 19 minutes for Josh Jackson. That works. How old do you have to be to play Prize Picks? I mean, I assume 18. It'd be weird if the answer was like 37. But I assume the answer is either 18 or 21. You would have to check the terms there. I don't really have anything else I need to change here for Detroit. This is kind of just set up the way that it was for the last game. So I'm going to push forward, and I believe we should be getting PJ Washington back here for Charlotte. Still questionable for conditioning. Got to assume that he's getting back here, though. Been out a hot minute. It's been 4 straight games for PJ Washington, but he is questionable. So he was questionable last time. I'm going to assume he's playing here and playing, 24 minutes. But they were still playing. You know what? We're going to take Nick Richards straight out. We're going to say that Mason Plumlee plays 26 minutes. We're going to say that PJ Washington plays 22 minutes in his return. And then we need to get Miles Bridges up to 33. So I need to shave time somewhere. I assume that's coming from Jalen McDaniels. I don't know who else it would come for. I guess it could have. Yeah, it really has to just be Jalen McDaniels. There's no real other way around it. Or LaMelo. Not LaMelo. Kelly Oubre. I don't know where else he's been. Like, Rozier's minutes aren't going anywhere. LaMelo's minutes aren't going anywhere. Gordon Hayward's minutes aren't going anywhere. After that, all bets are off. I guess we're going to take Kelly Oubre down, and that'll do it. I'm going to sneeze, too. All right, so now we're at 1-1. That's what we need. That's actually a really easy projection here for today. I don't really have to change any rates. So let's look at Detroit first. It's just really easy rotations for today. So for Detroit, we've got Diallo. I mean, actually, this isn't really all that surprising because of how good of a matchup it is for Charlotte or for Detroit. But while they are underdogs and are shorthanded, there's a lot to like here. Trey Lyles looking like the best option. He is 4,800 on FanDuel, 4,700 on DraftKings. I think that looks pretty good. Cade, I think, is solid across both sites. Probably a bit better on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings. Hamidou Diallo is solid on both sites. A bit better on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings. That Diallo, Cade Cunningham, Trey Lyles trio on FanDuel, those prices work. No real issue getting to Sadiq Bey. He's just a guy today. Killian Hayes is 3,200 on DraftKings. I mean, that's not good, but that's an interesting value if he's going to just fall into more minutes. So keep your eye on Killian Hayes today. Could be an interesting GPP option if this game stays competitive. Let's look at Charlotte now. For Charlotte, LaMelo Ball, 8,700 on FanDuel. That's certainly a guy I'd be interested in taking a peek at. Just, that's he's got a ceiling, that's for sure. He's got a pretty sizable ceiling, in fact. Unquestionably the best option in the Charlotte side on either site. Not that he's all that bad at 9,600 on DraftKings. It's just worse. Miles Bridges is 7,100 on DraftKings. I think he looks just as good as LaMelo does on DK. Happily getting to Terry Rozier or Gordon Hayward or Mason Plumlee. Although Plumlee starts to scare me if PJ Washington's coming back. But, I mean, and most of that's DK. Like, Bridges for 8,100 on FanDuel is a tough sell. Gordon Hayward for 7K on FanDuel is a tough sell. There's a lot to like in this Detroit-Charlotte game, and that's really not all that fun to know because Detroit stinks. We'll go to Philly. 7.5-point favorites in Orlando. 210 total. Not the type of total that gets you excited, but maybe something interesting is happening here. We did have a couple guys out for Philly last time out, so looks like we have no Maxey, no Shake, no Matisse Thybulle, no Paul Reed, no Jaden Springer. This one's actually going to become kind of interesting. So we've got no Shake Milton. I'm going to take Tyler Johnson's minutes out. I'm going to take everybody's minutes out that isn't one of the big three, plus Drummond's backup. So, I mean, it seems like Seth Curry's just going to play 34 minutes or more. That's just what he does in these scenarios. We don't have their starting point guard or their backup point guard, which means, is it Isaiah Joe season? Or do they go same lineup, Curry, Korkmaz, Danny Green, Harris, Embiid? That's probably what they do, right? Danny Green coming into like 28 minutes. We just saw Korkmaz go crazy and play 36 minutes. I think he gets rewarded for that. Plays about 30. Seems like Isaiah Joe is just going to get some run. They don't have too many alternatives there. They don't even have like legit point guards on the roster, which is kind of crazy. Coffee and Kush. That they still completely suck. That's still a true statement. Teams beat teams all the time. Detroit's one of the worst teams in basketball. Probably the worst. Maybe second worst. I mean, they're missing like legitimate actual players for their team too. They're really, really bad. I don't care who they beat. Niang gets the backup 4 run. Does he play more than that? It feels like he does, right? George Niang plays like 20 minutes. So we need like one last guy added into this rotation. It's not Shake. They went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They basically went 9 deep, but they lost Shake and Paul Reed since then. It's not like they're going to play Bassey more and go to 3 centers. So these minutes are really difficult. Does Isaiah Joe just play more than I thought he would? Or does Korkmaz, for that matter? Or Danny Green? I don't know how much Danny Green can play. That's really the issue. Korkmaz might be forced to play 32 minutes. I'm actually going to bump those minutes up even further. It seems like Isaiah Joe is going to have to play a little bit more than you would originally anticipate. So I'm going to give him 26 minutes. Still not going to be all that interesting of a value. That still leaves me 18 for... I mean, they got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's either going to be Miles Powell, Aaron Henry. I guess Aaron Henry is the guy that's played the most recently. So I'm just giving him 18 minutes. Congratulations, Aaron Henry. Welcome to the team. Let's take a look at what Philly looks like when there's no Shake Milton and no Shake Milton, no Tyrese Maxey on the floor. So if we take Maxey off and Milton off this year, it's not going to be it's not going to be a huge sample. Korkmaz is the guy that benefits the most there. We only have 119 minutes of Joel Embiid in this scenario. 37% usage rate. Be aware, that's a big number. Does get a little bit of a bump in assists. Tobias Harris in this scenario, 23.5% usage rate, so nothing too wild. Does see a really big bump in assist rate. That makes a lot more sense to me. Seth Curry actually gets the biggest jump in usage rate, jumps up to into the 20s. I don't know how feasible that totally is, but I do want to give him the bump. Certainly handles the ball more too. So he's going to look good. I assume Danny Green doesn't really do much else. I assume Korkmaz, 22% usage rate. He does actually see a little bit more of the ball in these scenarios. Let's take him up to 21. More assists as well. Isaiah Joe, 114 minutes. Minuscule usage rate. Minuscule every rate. So I think we're going to go ahead and say that that's Philly, at which point I think Korkmaz's price on DraftKings is still a problem. All right. Orlando, who has 27,000 guys on the team. Q tag on Cole Anthony, which is not helpful for this type of exercise. No Suggs, Isaac, Fultz. Okiki's off the injury report. No Robin Lopez, MCW, or Eton Moore. This is not going to be fun or easy to do, and it's really not going to be all that relevant until later tonight. So let's be aware of that. All right, we need... The first assumption is, does Cole Anthony play? So let's go read his blurb, because we kind of need to know a little bit more here. Missed 5 straight games. He's questionable. I don't know if he's gone through any shoot-arounds or anything like that. You'd like to think that he has, but I think for right now we have to assume that he is in. So I'm going to cut everything out of this rotation just to make it a little bit easier. We're going to go 34 minutes for Cole Anthony. Seems like when he plays, he just plays. Most of the rest of this is going to be pretty easy. We're going to go 34 minutes to Franz Wagner. We're going to go 34 minutes to Gary Harris. We're going to go 34 minutes to Wendell Carter Jr. Mo Bamba played 22 minutes. I'm going to say that continues to go up. He gets 26. So that's everybody that normally plays a bunch of minutes. Terrence Ross appears to just... Oh, come on. I walked all over the house at the 6-minute mark. My watch didn't give me credit for my stand goal. And there's no way that I can just stand here and move around and fake it. So I just lost out on my stand for the 6 o'clock hour, even though I did stand. I went and got water and walked down the hallway. So stupid. So stupid. All right, we're giving Terrence Ross 28 minutes at a minimum. I think you can potentially get more. Tim Frazier goes from starting point guard to backup point guard. There's 14 minutes. RJ Hampton played 32 minutes this last time out. I don't really know how to read into that. He had been playing about 28 minutes a game, so maybe that continues. Yeah, I'm going to give him... Maybe we go 24 on RJ Hampton. That leaves me one last guy for this rotation. Gravette or Schofield. And just based on size, I think we can go either direction. I'm going to say Gravette for right now. I do need a stand-up desk. That's on the short list for quarter one. But what I really need is for the Apple Watch to have recognized me standing earlier. We do have to change rates, unfortunately, for Orlando. This should be pretty easy to do, but we do need to get Cole Anthony back out on the floor. We do need to take Suggs off. Yeah, Cantor, I built one of the uplift desks and sort of just like saved all of the stuff for it. We're not doing great on likes, Ken. People should hit the like button. That would be great. All right, so everybody that's on here is available. So this really is like the rates with no Jalen Suggs. Cole Anthony jumps up to a 28% usage rate. Assist rate bumps up a bit. He's already a good rebounder. Franz Wagner does get a little bit of a bump. Gary Harris, I'm sure, doesn't. Wendell Carter Jr., same rates that he always has. Actually, slight rebounding bump. Mo Bamba. .8% usage rate in this scenario. Man, I don't feel like I could do that. Can't buy a bucket either. Definitely rebounding less, though. Man, maybe I do cut Bamba's rate. Call it 16.5. Ross, I assume, just chucks. Yeah. Just chucks. RJ Hampton, I assume, chucks. Yeah. All right, well, that's Orlando and Philly. I think the Orlando side is about to be pretty ugly. Oh, I made a change to this sheet where I show all of like the displayed information. I added what I'm calling plus minus. I had it on here before. I'm putting it back on here now. I think it's the easiest thing for me to look at. This is how many points. So it's your ceiling score, which I'm calling 1.5 standard deviations. And then, so in this case, it's that minus your 5x plus 10 target score. So basically, if this person hits their ceiling in their minutes, so if Joel Embiid hits his ceiling projection in 34 minutes, he would provide 9 points of value over his 5x plus 10. What we really want to know is, how good are people when they do the best thing they can do? So right now, Embiid, 10-8 on FanDuel, 11-2 on DraftKings, looks great on both sites. Yeah, I did see that thing about Windler, but he was Dylan Windler coming off the bench, so I didn't pay attention to it too hard. Tobias Harris continues to be a good play on FanDuel at 7,100. He continues to be a not all that interesting play on DraftKings at 8K. Korkmaz for 4,700 is exceptional on DraftKings. Shooting guard, small forward, and the best value on the team other than maybe Embiid. Seth Curry, better on DraftKings than he is on FanDuel. Not too much else here, though. I should color code that column, too. Let's do that quickly. Just because I want it to look a little cleaner. So let's do... We're going to do percentile. Here, we'll call that 90%. We'll say percentile 50%. Interesting, negative. And then we'll say 10%. So that's FanDuel's. I'm so weird about formatting that, like, I can't help myself by wanting this. But it's just going to make things look a little bit better visually. I know this is going to be annoying. Look, we don't have anywhere that we need to be, really. So let's get the formatting in. Blue is good. Red is bad. See, this is the problem for me in Excel. I'm way too big of an Excel nerd to just, like, not want to do things the moment that I think that I should. Like, I always just want to format things differently so that they look slightly better. It's the weirdest thing for me. I'm so addicted to being in Microsoft Excel and playing around with colors. It's not helpful for me. It's honestly probably a bit of a problem in that I spend more time worried about the format of things than I do, like, so many other things. Like, I already lost that link because I wanted to change something else. But I also think it's going to be the easiest way for us to quickly see who my favorite plays are on the slate. And I think that's important. This will pay dividends down the line. It was something I wanted to do yesterday and just ran out of time. So we got one in. Now let's get the DraftKings side. This should be quick. The DK side will go slightly faster. But now we can get, I mean, it's going to be pretty intuitive. It's going to correlate really well with, like, boom percentages and stuff like that. But I think it just paints the rosiest picture of what we're really looking for. So there we go. Chris, I learned everything on my own. I mean, like, I'm sure I took an Excel class in college. It's not like I remember it. But I've always used it. Like, even, I don't know. I've been using it to, like, analyze sports stats since I can remember, probably like 2005, 6, something in that neighborhood. And then I used it for work for years. I built a lot of work tools outside of this job. But yeah, it's just it's like the thing I know the most of, probably. And I don't know all that much, which is, like, really crazy to think about. All right, Orlando side. Sorry, Dre Every Day. No videos or anything like that. Wendell Carter Jr. and Cole Anthony look like the two best options. Like, you can see here, these are both in blue, pretty dark. They both have double-digit booms. It's just, like, the easiest way to see what you're really looking at. Mo Bamba's a little sneaky. Franz Wagner on DraftKings is a little sneaky. There's no, like, ultra priorities here, but there's good plays. We haven't looked at this sheet in a while. So let me get the plus minus set up on here as well, so we can get an idea of what the whole slate looks like as we go game by game. You know what? I don't really like that sheet. We're going to skip that. We don't have enough time for it. Let's go. Game 3. Houston at Washington. This should be good. Houston Rockets, 6.5-point dogs in Washington. Where are we going? Kevin Porter and Christian Wood allegedly back. Still no Şengün, Brooks, Garuba, or Dejan Giraud. On Washington, still missing Dinwiddie, Rui, Trez. They are getting Howell Neto back, which is pretty interesting for that team. He might pop depending on what his salary is. So I'm guessing we're going to be projecting him for a decent chunk of minutes. Let's try Houston, where we need to put Christian Wood and Kevin Porter Jr. back out on the floor. I'm assuming they step right back into the same role that they had previously. That's really all that would make sense to me. So I'm going to say that Kevin Porter Jr. steps back in, plays 33 minutes. We're going to say that Christian Wood steps back in, plays, I don't know, 32 minutes. Backup center, I assume, is just going to be Daniel Tice. I think Jalen Green is probably locked into 30 minutes, 31 minutes, something like that. You know what? If the game is competitive, I think Jalen Green's playing 33 minutes as well. The problem in this scenario is that it's just rarely going to be competitive. Eric Gordon seems to be about 30 minutes a game. Jae'Sean Tate pretty much locked into like 28 minutes a game. Dre, that's sick. I've seen some people put games into Excel. It's an interesting medium, to say the least. All right, let's say that Josh Christopher is the backup point guard. I'm gonna assume that Garrison Matthews is playing off the bench, but also still a lot. So I'm gonna give him 28 minutes. And then Kenyon Martin is gonna need maybe the backup 4 run, which leaves me only 5 minutes for David Nwaba. Now, I don't think that that's going to be how this actually breaks, but we have no idea. It's possible that Kmart plays less. Possible. I don't have a great feel for this rotation. But it's David Nwaba, so I don't care too much. So we're going to call Houston there, but we do need to grab the new rates. And by new rates, I mean just their standard issue rates. Just need to make sure people aren't falling too far from their actual stuff. Do we need to take anybody off? I guess we could take Şengün off. No, he's a decent proxy for Wood anyway, so I don't think we really need to take anybody off. I'm guessing we're just locking in everybody's normal rates. Done. Christian Wood's looking really good today, particularly on DraftKings. Clownin, you did not miss the spreadsheet giveaway. I don't know exactly who sent the original message that went poorly on the deeper dive a couple days ago that led to the spreadsheet gate issue, but whoever that was, I know that you watch. I don't know if you're watching right now. I got the very nicely written apology from the news god yesterday. If you're here, feel free to speak up. I'm not mad at all. The apology was not necessary. I took no offense to it. I never even saw it happen in chat. So if chat lit you up, that's funny to me. But you did not need to apologize to me. I took no offense. Don't think for a second that I was like actually angry. I'm glad that it actually prompted me to show everybody like just how much stuff is really in this sheet. But yeah, I don't take things all that seriously, or at least I'd like to think that I don't. If I do, I kind of want people to let me know that I do. But I will say that was a very nice gesture. Alrighty, let's do the Whiz now. So this is everybody but Neto back. Everybody is the same as we had last time, but now Neto is back. That's the better way to say that. So the question then becomes, how many minutes can Howell Neto play? Because he's been out a while. He has not played since the 23rd. I mean, that's a long time. So does he play 22 minutes? Does that just make the most sense? And then we keep Bradley Beal in for his 38. Because I think we're going to get, we got 36 minutes out of Gafford. So that's I mean, at 32 has to be the minimum here for Gafford. He's averaging about that. Alize Johnson played 6, so I'm thinking they went to Bertans at center. It's kind of important, which is annoying. Now, it is Charlotte, so that you can do kind of dumb stuff here. All right, so this whole gap had Bertans at center for a brief moment, then Alize Johnson playing the rest of it. Then Gafford played the whole third quarter, and then Bertans played the 5. So we got very minimal amounts of Alize Johnson. So I think leaving Alize Johnson in for 8 minutes makes sense. We stretch Bertans to the 5 as well. He played 20 minutes. I'm willing to give him 22. So we still need to shave 7 minutes here. I think that's going to end up being really easy. It'll just be Corey Kispert. Because Kuzma's minutes at 34 seem fine. Honestly, it should probably be 36 with all these guys out. 34 for KCP. I'll at least take 1 away there. Denny, I have in for 29. Now, he started, right? Yeah, played 39. I'm going to take him up to 32. I think Kispert's the guy that loses the most. The question is, do I think he drops all the way to 17? He just might. He just might. He becomes the most superfluous person of all of this. So we're going to do something like that. I think that works. We don't really need to change the rates. We just need to probably update Neto. And then I might actually have to look at Kuzma, because he popped a little bit more than I expected during this last game, and I wasn't entirely sure why. So let's take Dinwiddie off. We'll take Trez off. Yeah, I don't really feel the need to change Kuzma's rates too much. I guess a little bit more of a usage bump. Like, Beal doesn't actually get that bump, but I'm certainly projecting it to happen. I'm not projecting him to get less usage. That would be insane. So Neto in these scenarios, no Dinwiddie, no Harrell. 230 minutes, 18.4% usage rate, which is exactly where I have his normal rate. So he doesn't really change. KCP goes to 18. I'm willing to lock in 17.5. Denny goes to 14.3. He does nothing different. Yeah, I think I ended up being a little light on Kuzma's usage that night, which is obviously frustrating in hindsight. All right, so that's Washington. Let's see what we've got going on for Houston and Washington. Houston. Best play in this game is very clearly Christian Wood. If we assume that Christian Wood is back and playing his normal run, he is 7,200 on FanDuel, power forward center eligible. He is 6,200 on DraftKings. That price is incorrect. Christian Wood is one of the best plays on DK if he's playing today. The only other guy that you really want to get to with any sort of volume would be Kevin Porter. 6,700 on FanDuel, 6,600 on DraftKings. Not too much else here. But Christian Wood is probably the best play that we've seen so far. I believe. Now I do want to add it here because I want to know. It's so dumb. It's a number. You guys know it's a number. I think Christian Wood is the best play on both sites thus far. Actually, technically, it's Gafford on FanDuel. So let's bump to that. Yeah, Washington popping. I forgot that Washington gets to play Houston. So Beal looks good across both sites. Kuzma looks great on DraftKings at 7,700. Daniel Gafford is the best play on Washington, 6,600 and 6,400, but just center eligible, so he gets muted a little bit. Denny looks good. KCP I still don't love. He'll probably end up over-owned, but yeah, let's get the plus minus on here for DraftKings. I'm digging that. Boom. Yep. So just dumb there. Getting a lot done on this one. Yeah, I think we're going to be going till 8 o'clock today. Pretty easily. We're only through 3 games. Look, where else do we got to be, guys? I don't have anywhere to be. I'd rather just talk basketball. You guys don't leave. You guys just hang out. Hit that like button if you want to hang out. Yeah, Christian Wood, 3 points clear of Daniel Gafford. I wonder if... Does this work? Summarize values as sum. Show values as difference from... No. Percent. No, that doesn't work. Yeah, that's not doing what I thought it was going to do. Never mind. Either way, play a lot of Christian Wood. Play a lot of Daniel Gafford. We just opened up that game, and they are 2 of the best plays on the slate today. Very, very, very interesting. Like, Wood is 3 points clear of Gafford. Gafford's a 1.5 clear of Kuzma. They're all, like, Christian Wood is 6 points clear of Embiid. That's how ridiculous 6,200 is for Christian Wood. All right, 3 games down, 8 more to go. San Antonio Spurs at Boston. Don't really know. We're not going to have any idea what's going on with San Antonio since they're on a back-to-back. Q tag on Dejounte Murray, and I think what we saw that he is expected to play. So we're going to put Murray back in, but we're not going to have McDermott, Walker, anybody else. But we did see that tweet yesterday that Murray was going to be back today. Murray has missed the past 4 games. So I'm going to take everything out of San Antonio, just try to make this a little bit easier to do. We're going to get Dejounte Murray back out there for, I don't know, 31 minutes. We're going to give Derek White 33 minutes, 32 minutes, something like that. I assume Vassell continues to start. And we give him like 29 minutes. Clearly, Keldon Johnson's going to stay back out there. 32 minutes. Clearly, Jakob Poeltl's going to stay out there 30 minutes. We're still not getting any Thad Young playing, which is hilarious. Landale going to just be the backup center. We'll say Keita Bates Diop plays 16 minutes. We get Trey Jones backing up at the point. We get Bryn Forbes backing up at the 2. And then, did anybody else play? Oh, so they, Poeltl, Landale, Eubanks. Okay, so they're playing a lot of 2 big lineups. Is it Landale and Eubanks together? Do we even expect that to continue down the line? All right, so Eubanks played a stretch. So they played Landale and Jakob Poeltl alongside each other at one point? No, where is this time coming from then? Oh, they closed like that. All right. They played Jock Landale and Drew Eubanks together to close, so they didn't really do that. That makes me feel a little bit better. That was starting to look kind of weird. That made no sense. So 19 minutes left. I'm just going to say they go to Josh Primo. Done. Actually, we'll go done. That makes more sense. Now we got to change every rate for this stupid team because of Murray coming back, because Murray's rates drive so much of San Antonio. We're going to take McDermott off and Lonnie Walker off. In those cases, Dejounte Murray, 238 minutes with no McDermott, no Walker. He's got a 27% usage rate. Monster assist rate, which is kind of nuts. Derek White, pretty much the same rates. So no changes. Vassell plays the most minutes in these scenarios. Does get a little bit of a bump. Don't want to go too high just because he's going to be stepping into a starting lineup. Jakob Poeltl, I assume, is just his... Wow. Jakob Poeltl, giant usage bump there. I assume that's not really with Murray on, though. If Murray is on, does Poeltl still get that bump? Not really, but close enough. Does Keldon Johnson still get that bump? Not really. And then I don't know what to do with a Jock Landale on a day like today, but I think we're playing a lot of Jakob Poeltl. Something I'm rarely mad about. Let's go to Boston. Boston 220 total in this one. Again, 7.5-point favorites against San Antonio. Probably because Tatum is available, Robert Williams is available. We don't know about Langford or Nesmith or Jabari. Freedom is back. So this is basically full strength Boston. Or at least as full strength as Boston needs to be. Tatum has missed 4 games. I'm just going to give him 34 minutes here. We're going to give Jaylen Brown 36. We're going to give Marcus Smart 34. We're going to give Dennis Schroeder. Played 40 in his return with no Tatum and no Robert Williams still. I don't think he's going to play 40, but, 28 seems fine. We're going to say that Time Lord is back after only missing 1 game. He had been averaging about 30 minutes. I think that's the goal, is for him to play 30 minutes. I don't think Freedom's going to be playing at all. We're just going to go to 30 minutes of Al Horford as well. Grant Williams was playing a little bit more with Tatum out. I don't know if that's going to continue. I think he's probably good for like 20 minutes. Nope, that ain't it. So the only guy that we have left right now is Josh Richardson. I've got 28 minutes that I can give him. Turns out that's exactly what I want to give him. So boom. 8-man rotation for Boston? Should I expect that? Feels like no, but who doesn't play those minutes? I don't know who we're cutting into. So I'm going 8 for right now. Till I see otherwise. Because I don't really see where they naturally go away. Other than maybe Jay Rich. Yeah, I mean, how many minutes does Pritchard really get in this scenario? I mean, we're talking about a guy that wasn't really playing before all of their COVID absences started. So I don't think they're long for Pritchard. Like, we're only trying to create like 12 more minutes. And it's not even like Boston looks all that good having them like this anyway. They're about to look even worse when I start cutting these rates. So let's look at Boston, who I don't think is going to look all that interesting. I want to put Horford on so that I can get Robert Williams' rates correctly first, and then we'll look at everybody else. So with Horford on, Robert Williams has played a large chunk of time. He does not have a particularly good usage rate. He rebounds significantly worse. And there's like no creation whatsoever. So that's Robert Williams. Now, with Jason Tatum on, actually, we're probably at a point now where I could just say this is all the same. Yeah, like, we're getting a lot of yellow on these teams. Tatum on the season, 31.5% usage rate. Everything else can stay. Jaylen Brown on the season, 31.5% usage rate. I got to come in slightly lower than Tatum. Jay Rich on the season, 17% usage rate. Marcus Smart, 16.5. Schroeder, 24, so his stuff doesn't go anywhere. And then finally, Al Horford. We're good there. Yeah, man, even this team doesn't even have like the usage to go around. It makes me not get to Grant Williams, which is really hard to do. Let's put Tatum on and see what these rates look like. All right, so Schroeder takes a pretty big haircut with Tatum on, as does Jaylen Brown. Let's do something like that. Close enough, I guess. That's San Antonio and Boston. How am I moving so slowly through this slate today? I feel like we're digging into it well, though. Apparently, I need to take out yesterday's ownership. There we go. All right. So for San Antonio, Jakob Poeltl is the best option on FanDuel. Keldon Johnson's okay. Devin Vassell's okay. On DraftKings, it's Poeltl and Vassell. Nobody really looking all that good on San Antonio. On Boston, Robert Williams is okay on FanDuel at 7K, given the power forward center eligibility. He's been playing better. Tatum's okay. We're really just not going to San Antonio, Boston. You're going to see it here. They're just not going to be highly involved in the top of this table. Like, we knew Jakob Poeltl looked good, but he's behind Christian Wood, Embiid, and Gafford already at center. After that, we're taking a pretty big dive down. On the opposite side, there's just really nothing for DraftKings. So, not a great Boston-San Antonio game. I don't think that Golden State-Dallas is about to look much better either. Golden State pretty much has everybody back, right? Yeah, no Clay, no Wiseman, Iggy questionable. So this is just normal issue Golden State. So, I got Curry in for 35 minutes. I think that makes sense. Otto Porter in for 21. Sure. Jordan Poole played 26. You got to figure those minutes are going to start to ramp up. Gary Payton got the start, played more. Damian Lee barely played. Juan Toscano-Anderson barely played. Nemanja Bjelica barely played. Kevon Looney. His minutes seem pretty set in stone. We're going to go to 24 there. I got Draymond in for 30. That just needs to be more. We'll take him up to 32. Got Wiggins in for 33. We got Iggy in for 22 if he plays. That makes sense. I'm running out of dudes to give minutes to. Maybe Iggy doesn't play. Is that just the assumption? Let's take Iggy out. Lets me get Gary Payton up to... he's been playing a ton. Let's do something like that. Actually. Let's do something like that. Otto Porter, 20 minutes. That leaves me 18 for Damian Lee. That's probably more than I need. Let's do 14 for Lee. And we'll give Toscano Anderson and Bielitsa those minutes again. Done. Yeah, not sure. I don't have a problem doing that. To Dallas we go. Rates don't have to change for Golden State. We didn't make any changes. What do we got going on in Dallas? That I don't actually know. No Porzingis, COVID. No Willie Cauley-Stein, personal reasons. Trey Burke, questionable. So this is the exact same rotation we just had for Dallas. So we got Luka in for... I had him in for 32 minutes. We got to bump that up a little bit. Those minutes can come from a wealth of dudes. Not Jalen Brunson. I guess they could come from Tim Hardaway at this rate, but that'll be a tough sell. I guess they just got to come here. So we'll go Sterling Brown down. Should Tim Hardaway be playing less than 28 minutes? I don't know. Josh Green seems fine at 16. Yeah, I don't really have changes that I want to make here. I think both of these teams are set up as they should be. So, and I think it's going to be uneventful too. Golden State. There's not a single play on Golden State that I would say that I like. So I'm going to keep moving there. On Dallas, it's Luka and nobody else. And even still, like, it's not like I'm really fond of Luka, but let's be clear. Like, people are going to look at this in one way. Luka Doncic is a better fantasy performer than Steph Curry. Just always. Steph Curry, 1.15 FanDuel points per minute over the last 30 days. Luka, obviously short stint back, 1.37. Like, he's basically just himself. I don't get the sense he's going to get a ton of ownership either. He might look good. Let's go to Brooklyn. Ooh, Brooklyn, Indy. This one's not going to be fun to do. We're doing it here though, right? This is the return of Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is back for this one, right? This one's new. I don't know what the effect is about to be here. We have no idea how many minutes Kyrie is supposed to play in this one, which clearly complicates matters. All right, so I don't get the sense that they're going to just go crazy and run him into the ground. That would be a weird thing to me. So I'm going to say that Kyrie Irving plays 24 minutes. I think that Patty Mills continues to play 30. And that James Harden continues to play 38. Kevin Durant is obviously going to play 38 or something like that in a competitive matchup. Whether this is competitive or not, who knows? LaMarcus Aldridge didn't play the last game, and he is questionable again today. I think that is very important. We have no idea on his status, so I'm going to split center Aldridge and Claxton. I don't know what else I can do there. James Johnson seems to be pretty locked into about 22 minutes at this point, especially with Kyrie back now. It's just going to be harder. We saw Bruce Brown leave the starting lineup in place of DeAndre Bembry. So I'm going to prioritize Bembry first, give him 24 minutes, which gives Bruce Brown 16. And I'm going to say that that's it. Now, rates. All three guys available. Do I even have an ability to look at that? Let me look at one thing quickly. So James Harden. since last season. With Durant, Irving. Do I get that? Is that a thing? No, I don't think it is. I'll have to ask Adam. Yeah, we'll have to ask Adam. I have no idea what to do with the rates of these guys. None. I might actually just let the entire workbook handle it, which is what I am going to do. It's going to cut everybody's usage rate down. I don't really know if that matters. So let's go to Indiana. I'm guessing Indiana just looks like they did yesterday, but we don't have any injury report. So I'm treating it like everybody that was out yesterday is out again. And I'm going to go with the exact same rotation, save for it doesn't appear that they want to play O'Shea Brissett more. It appears that they are more likely to go to Torrey Craig. So I am going to take a couple minutes away from O'Shea Brissett. But I'm happy with everything else. You know, Sykes played huge minutes. Dwayne Washington played huge minutes. They played huge minutes in back-to-back games. Justin Holiday played less, which was kind of weird to me. We saw, I'm assuming he got in foul trouble. That's really the only way that makes any sense. Justin Holiday, 1 foul, 2 fouls, 3 fouls, 4 fouls. Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's probably not the guy that I would be like super worried about getting into foul trouble, but whatever. That's fine. I mean, I'm going to take like 2 minutes away from him just to soften the blow there. The question then becomes, should I be giving Dwayne Washington and Sykes 34 minutes? I'm going to go... All right, we're going to take that to 15. No, we're going to take that to 17. 33 and 32, I think, is the best that I can do. So that's Indy again. I'm happy with all the rates here. So we'll start with Brooklyn, who I would say is basically unplayable. I think that you can make a case for James Harden, potentially Durant. Kyrie is 8K on FanDuel, 8,900 on DraftKings. That's going to be tough unless you know how many minutes he can play. Indiana, though, very different. Kiefer Sykes, exceptional option today. 3,700 on FanDuel, 3,300 on DraftKings. Dwayne Washington, exceptional play today. 4,100 on FanDuel, 3,800 on DraftKings. Big time plays. Sabonis and Turner are both outstanding on both sites. They're slightly more outstanding on DraftKings than they are on FanDuel. Justin Holiday is a neutral play across both sites. So we'll pop that one in there and that one in there. Ooh, that's not the right one. I got to add 6 as well. Man, we're all right. We're at 734. We're over 100 likes. We've got at least a half hour to go. It's going to be a good one. Okay, so Kiefer Sykes is now the number 1 play on FanDuel and DraftKings. We've got a trio of Sykes, Wood, and Washington as the best plays. Sabonis and Gafford not too far behind. But Sykes is at the top of the heap here. Dwayne Washington up at the top of the heap on FanDuel. Sabonis is ranked very highly. Lots to like from Indy right now. All right, 5 games to go. Toronto at Milwaukee. This one should basically be no changes on the Toronto side. Yeah, that game went exactly as we would have expected. You know, they all played a little bit less than I wanted them to. The game didn't go all that well. Fred VanVleet was stroking. I think we're going to be good there. And unfortunately, I'm going to be playing a lot of Gary Trent once again. All right, so we're totally fine on Toronto. That's just what this team is when they're full strength. And I assume we're the exact same scenario for Milwaukee. Oh, yeah, no, Grayson Allen and Pat Connaughton got the bug. So slightly different for Milwaukee. That seems like a great strategy, Mr. OG Crypto. Sabonis is one of the best plays of the slate, guys. Don't overthink it. All right, Milwaukee. We got to take out Grayson Allen's minutes. We got to take out Pat Connaughton's minutes. I'm going to take out Rodney Hood and Wes Matthews. Everything else here is going to be pretty easy. We kind of know what we're going to get out of Portis. Portis finally played 30 minutes. I think that's important now. I'm going to give him those 30 minutes. We're going to cut down anything that Cousins is going to do. Giannis in for 32. Let's make it 33 for right now. Same as Drew. Same as Chris Middleton. We've got George Hill in for 22. But we're going to be missing Connaughton. We're going to be missing... Is Wara in? We have no idea. No Connaughton. No Grayson Allen, so we need to fill in 50 additional minutes. I'm going to at least take George Hill to 24. I think that we're going to see Rodney Hood play about 20. I think we're going to see Wes Matthews play about 20. Semi Ojeleye questionable as well. That's something to pay attention to. If you're someone that says that you will not play Sabonis again moving forward and you mean it, you're probably never going to win money in DFS. Sorry, guys. I know. Harsh but fair. Harsh but fair. All right, so I'm going to go with Jordan Nwora and Semi Ojeleye as the guys that get the rest of this time. I don't know how true that is. They don't really have a ton of dudes that are just likely to step into this. Obviously, Nwora seems like the easiest guy to want to go to. Jordan Nwora, might play 24 minutes. And then a final 10 minutes we'll go Javonte Smart. The 10-man Milwaukee rotation. No rate changes necessary. So that's Milwaukee. Ooh, where in the world did that coffee go other than in my belly? All right, Toronto. Sure, I love them again. Ooh, all right. So the pricing on Toronto on DraftKings is not all that appealing. It's really only Gary Trent, and even that's a stretch. On FanDuel, Anunoby, Barnes, and Trent look the best. And then maybe Siakam. I didn't get to any Van Vliet yesterday. 1.39 fantasy points per minute over the past 30 days for Fred Van Vliet. Frank, what do you mean don't forget Boogie? Boogie is completely useless and forgettable for Milwaukee. He is a fully unplayable person that will basically not play moving forward. Yeah, William, you're going to get let down pretty significantly when you ask Adam if you should play Domantas Sabonis today as one of the best plays on the day. Be prepared for this. All right, 3 games left. This Toronto game and Milwaukee side are really not all that interesting other than FanDuel. Like, even Milwaukee, Giannis is solid. Middleton is solid. Bobby Portis on FanDuel is solid. There's nothing here. Nothing here at all. Oh, no. Sorry. 4 games to go. It's 7:40. We need to pick up the pace. OKC. Let's see. So we get Shea back, which I already had. Baisley back. Trey Mann back. No Dort. And no JRE. All right, so Shea's minutes make sense. Actually, we need to gut all of this, make it a little bit easier, because we've got Giddey here. Giddey actually played 36 minutes with no Shea. I think without Dort, he's probably going to play like 32. I'm certainly giving Shea 35. All right. That's 2. God, I hate this team so much. So much. So Derek Favors basically plays like 14 minutes a night. And Mike Muscala basically plays like 14 minutes a night. And Isaiah Roby plays slightly more than that. We'll give Roby 20. We're going to say Darius Baisley is back for the first time in like 5 games, plays like 24 minutes. Poku's been getting dusted off. Kenrich Williams plays an undetermined amount of minutes. We're going to say that Poku goes and plays 20. I mean, this is just hideous. This is truly garbage. We'll give Ty Jerome the backup point guard run. Maybe Maladon gets some backup run. Does Aaron Wiggins continue to play big minutes? Is Aaron Wiggins just a guy that plays minutes because Baisley's? No, not really. We'll give Aaron Wiggins 22 minutes. We'll give Maladon a couple extra. I'll throw 3 more at someone random. I mean, this Oklahoma City team is a joke. Do I even care who gets these 3 minutes? I guess it doesn't really matter. Not Gabriel Deck, who's no longer on the team. Goodbye. Sorry, Gabe. You know, can't be around these parts any longer. We'll do something like that. OKC is just wildly meaningless. I'm not sure that even Shea is going to look good today. I just don't know what this team looks like if Dort is off. Because he does like to shoot. All right. With no Dort on the floor this year, Shea's got a 34% usage rate. Does not have a particularly high assist rate or rebounding rate, however. Josh Giddey, 23.5% usage rate. All the other rates are the same. Josh Giddey's going to look good, no surprise. Let's see, Poku. I don't think I need to change anybody else's rates here. So that's OKC, lovely. Minnesota, who I think is going to be back at full strength and then also really uninteresting. Q tag on Russell, Q tag on Towns. I'm going to assume that both guys are in, at which point we are going to officially stop liking anything for Minnesota. So, 30 minutes for Patrick Beverley. 36 minutes for Anthony Edwards. We're going to say 30 minutes for D'Angelo Russell. 30 minutes for Karl Anthony Towns. I don't know if I trust this, but, you know. We'll go Naz Reid, backup run 18. Jared Vanderbilt is pretty well set into 28 minutes. I'm going to say that McDaniels gets 20 there. Backup point guard run, we're going to say, is Jalen Noel. We're going to say that Malik Beasley is back to his standard issue 24 minutes. And then maybe we throw like a random 6 minutes to Taurean Prince. I don't know. They could actually go 9-man rotation and play Jaden McDaniels 26 minutes. I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to say they go 9-man rotation. Because they basically went 8.5, 9 here. And that's without Towns and Russell. So let's just say that that's what they're going to do. Now, rates changing are awful. This is just their full strength team. And when they're at full strength, they're wildly uninteresting. You know, we get Cat in at reasonable usage. We get Anthony Edwards in at reasonable usage. Russell in at reasonable usage. Jared Vanderbilt in at no usage. Pat Bev in at, I assume, minimal usage. I just don't have a lot of changes I want to make here. Minnesota's just tough to look at. Unfortunately, they're in a great matchup, but they stink. OKC, yeah, Josh Giddey, 6,800 on FanDuel. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 8,800 on DraftKings. Those are the only two options that even look mildly appealing. Anthony Edwards is just a guy that I'm going to get to a lot always. I just think he has a big ceiling from a scoring perspective. 7,900 across both sites. Shooting guard, small forward across both sites. He's a good play, not a great play. He will not be owned today. He wasn't owned when he should have been owned. Utah. I know they're without Joe Ingles. They're taking on Denver. They're missing their first guy due to COVID. Keep your eyes peeled for that, just in case we see slightly more happening. But on the Utah end, Q tags on Bojan, Royce O'Neal, Rudy Gobert, Hassan Whiteside. Clarkson's in, Mitchell's in. So it's really just Ingles out, and that's the only thing that we know. I have no concept of what Joe Ingles being out means for the rest of Utah. In a way, I kind of want one of these other guys to also be out. But I don't really know who gets the giant minutes bump in this scenario. I'm going to say that Clarkson plays a little bit more. There's just a little bit more playing time and ball handling to go around. You know, we're going to pop Whiteside in for his backup run at the 5. We're going to put Rudy Gay probably plays a little bit more. That actually does make some sense. It's pretty easy to step him into like 22 minutes. And then, is it just Trent Forrest that probably gets this time? Yeah. All right, so Utah is actually pretty easy. And I'm guessing, given the fact that Ingles just basically shoots and doesn't use any possessions, that no rates really change here. Yeah, let's lock Donovan Mitchell into his normal stuff. Everybody else is fine, I guess. Yeah, I don't really see anything else I want to change. Royce O'Neal has a gigantically lower rebounding rate, which is not something that I would have expected, but actually matters today. Well, that's Utah, mostly meaningless. Let's check out Denver, who could be anywhere from meaningless to wildly interesting. Denver has... By the way, if you haven't hit the like button yet, 219 people here. Go ahead and hit it. Okay, so still no Monty Morris, still no Jeff Green. Rivers is questionable. Zeke Najee's questionable. Everybody else that's normally out is out. So I think we're looking at the same rotation we've just seen from Denver. That is my expectation. I'm going to guess that Austin Rivers plays the minutes that we were expecting him to play last time. I will give a slight bump to Bones Highland, but otherwise this is Jokic and Will Barton and Aaron Gordon. I probably have Aaron Gordon under projected here. Oh yeah, Konkar broke a bone in his foot, so he's out. Yeah, I think Aaron Gordon's about to fall into like 33 minutes now. We're just going to say Zeke Naji is that 4 then. Maybe he goes and we get a little bit of extra time for JaMychal Green, but yeah, that feels right. Campazzo at 32. We can definitely take away some of Rajon Tucker's minutes. We'll take Bones Highland up to 22. We'll take Devon Reed up to 20. And then we'll give Rajon Tucker those 5 random minutes. That works. Rates stay the same. What is Bones Highland's actual usage rate this season? Bones Highland, 23.7. How far does it drop if Jokic is on the floor? Bones Highland usage rate with Jokic, 22.6. Okay. So let's lock that in too. So that's Denver and Utah. For Utah, wow, 7:52. Yeah, we're going the full hour and a half easy today. I don't really like anything on Utah outside of maybe Donovan Mitchell. No priorities. Denver's very different. Jokic is one of the best plays on the slate. Definitely my favorite pay-up option. Will Barton and Aaron Gordon both look pretty good on DraftKings. So does Rivers and Campazzo and Highland. Gordon looks a little bit better on FanDuel, but yeah, we're really pushing Jokic a bit higher now, which I think is reasonable. So I've got Nikola Jokic as the number 1 play on FanDuel, just ahead of Kiefer Sykes. Sykes ahead of Jokic on DraftKings. Jokic in that same sort of tier as Christian Wood and Dwayne Washington, but we're up and down the salary structure, which makes Jokic look even better. 2 games to go. Miami and Portland. I'm pretty sure we have no Jimmy Butler for this one. So for Miami, no Robinson, Butler, Bam, no everybody except for Max Strus, apparently. So we're going to take Jimmy Butler out. We're going to say that Kyle Lowry is in for 36 minutes. I'm going to make it 37. We're going to take everybody out that isn't one of the normal starters. Yurtseven in for 32 minutes. Yes. PJ Tucker played 28. Chris Silva was mostly the backup, but needs less of that now. So we're going to take him down to 10. I'm going to take PJ Tucker to 30. And now we just got to fill in everybody else. Max Strus has missed 4 games. He was playing 30 minutes a game before that. That was mostly without PJ Tucker. One of them was with no Lowry. Some of them were with no Butler. I think Strus is playing 28 minutes today if he can. Hero's in for 36. There's no way we're making any changes there other than potentially giving him more minutes. So let's say Kyle Guy is the backup point guard. Now that Butler is out, I think that we get Nick Stauskas playing a little bit. I'm going to go 28 minutes to Max Strus. And that leaves me 10 for... Oh, shit. They don't really have anybody else. Haywood Highsmith? Do something like that. Does Caleb Martin just play more? Yeah, Caleb Martin might just get 36 minutes instead. We'll go 35. Kyle Lowry, I'm guessing, is going to end up looking pretty damn good when I take Jimmy Butler off the floor, but let's find out. This is a big slate. All this COVID stuff is what's really slowing down this show. Like, I'm not entirely sure I could have gone any faster. But thanks for being here, guys. 200 plus people here. We grow the entire time. It's always fun to see. So with no Jimmy Butler and no Bam Adebayo on the floor this season, Kyle Lowry has played 577 minutes. He's got a 22% usage rate, a massive assist rate. All of that looks really good. Tyler Hero, no Butler, no Bam, 31% usage rate. All of his other rates are pretty pedestrian, though. Caleb Martin is an interesting piece. He's played 303 minutes with no Butler, no Bam. 17% usage rate. Doesn't really do much else. Max Strus has a 19% usage rate with none of these guys on the floor. Omer Yurtseven in 266 minutes actually gets to a 21% usage rate. I have a hard time projecting that, but I will go to 20. Does destroy the boards. And then PJ Tucker does get a usage bump. 13.5% without those guys on the floor. I'm going to go to 12.5 just because he'll actually look okay on DraftKings. Not too great. So that's Miami. We'll try out Portland now, where I think Dame is back. I think that was just like a rest day. Looking like I'm wrong. Out. Nance, doubtful. So, and those are all actual distinctions since they didn't play yesterday. So, we got to change up Portland quite a bit. I'm going to gut this entire rotation. We're going to start it from scratch. 7:57. We are running deep on this Wednesday. All right. We got Anthony Simons starting the last time out. Played 38 minutes. I'm going 34 for today. We had Norm Powell play the normal 36 minutes that you would expect out of him. We did get Yusuf Nurkic back. Nurk played 26 minutes. I think it's safe to assume that he plays 28 today. Could go more. Wouldn't be surprised. We still don't have Zeller. So backup center doesn't actually exist on this team if Larry Nance isn't playing. So they're going to have to go small against Miami, which they can handle. That's not the biggest issue in the world. So it's probably... we're either going to call it Covington or Little. I don't think that really matters in the distinction here. Nas Little, I think, has to play like 32 minutes. I think we get Covington in for about 28. Oh, they'd still have Reggie Perry, right? I'm guessing Reggie Perry gets back in as the backup center. So that actually does solve that problem a little bit. Let's give Reggie Perry 14 minutes. Maybe they don't go as small. That looks a little bit better. Now, starting at the 2, I wonder if Dennis Smith Jr. starts now. Or maybe we just give him the backup run. Does Ben McLemore start? Is that who we're going to be looking at here? Because obviously we're taking we're taking Nance out of the starting lineup and replacing him with question mark. It could be Covington. It makes more sense to be McLemore. And then you bring Covington in for some of the bigger wings. Because if you start Covington, then you're going Simons at the 1, Powell at the 2, Covington, Little, Nurkic. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fine. I think they're just going to be really malleable. And it's not going to be very intuitive to who actually gets that time. Ben McLemore is going to play a lot today. I don't think that they have any alternatives for that to happen. So I'm going to give him 28 minutes. I think that Dennis Smith Jr. has to fall into a little bit more time, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the case. It just feels likely. Like if I give him 8 minutes and get him to 20, let's come to 22. Now, I guess that's not going to really change anything. We'll take him to 20. We have 20 minutes left over. I'm going to say for Tony Snell. It could be Trendon Watford too. I think that looks okay. That's one of them I really want to talk to with Adam. Because I think McLemore can start, Snell can start, Covington can start. I think the only things that we know for sure are Simons, Powell, and Nurkic. Probably Little, but I think they can go any direction there. Rates don't need to change. So we're going to be getting to a lot of Portland. OG Crypto, I don't even understand some of the things that you say. Like, just truly no clue. Oh, wow, there's so much to like for Miami. So, Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, Caleb Martin, Omer Yurtseven, 4 core options for today. You should be playing a lot of all 4 of them. Feel free to call whoever you want to be the best option there. It's probably Hero on FanDuel and Martin on DraftKings. I can't what? I don't even know what I can't do. That's what I mean. I don't understand what you're saying. It's the same situation for Portland. Play a lot of Norm Powell, Simons. Nas Little, DraftKings 4,600 is elite. Nurkic for 6K is good. Really, really good. There's just so much of this game at the top. Look at all that value. I mean, Portland-Miami is obviously the best game on this one. That's for sure. Let's close it out now. Atlanta and Sacramento. And this one actually is huge because Sacramento is a great fantasy team. We don't know the status of Trae Young. Back soreness. Clearly, we're assuming that he's playing. We don't know the status of Cam Reddish. Right ankle soreness. He did not play the last game. Not ideal. I'm going to assume that everybody is in that is potentially questionable. Trae Young for 36 minutes. Capella good. Does DeLon Wright play more here? I mean, I guess it all is going to really come down to, like, the Reddish status is the weirder piece. I actually don't think that I have a ton of changes that I want to make here. Gallo played 35 minutes. I don't think that's going to happen again. Just because I think Reddish plays, but it might. DeLon Wright played 32 minutes. Should I be expecting DeLon Wright to be on the floor more? Probably. Take him up to 24. That leaves me 10 additional minutes. We still had Skylar Mays playing, so I'm going to go that direction. I think that's what I'm going to do here for Atlanta. I don't find Atlanta to be all that interesting if Reddish and Trae Young are both in. Let's try Sacramento, which I think is just going to be normal. We had no Terrence Davis yesterday. Metu got the bug. We still have no Holmes. So I don't think we're changing anything here. Harkless in the rotation. Damian Jones and Alex Len split the center minutes, as one would anticipate. We're good with Fox. We're good with Halliburton. I mean, maybe Buddy Hield should be getting a little bit more run. Those minutes would come from I don't know who. I guess, yeah, I don't. Mo Harkless, I guess, could easily give them up. I think we're good here for 240. That's enough for Sacramento. We don't have. It's the same rotation as yesterday. So for Atlanta, Clint Capella, I think, is the best play, but obviously we have an infinite amount of centers. With Sacramento, just a ton here. Damian Jones, value center again. Yes. De'Aaron Fox, 7K on DraftKings. One of the best plays you're going to find. Halliburton, Barnes, Bagley, even Healed to a degree. All very, very interesting. So, it's time to run our crunches. Let's do it. If you haven't hit the like button yet, do that now. Let's figure out what's going on this slate, because we have been live for an hour and 35 minutes. Which, honestly, is not a fun way to start the day. Not that I don't love doing this show, but it is hell on my voice. Let's save that. Yes. All right. FanDuel Optimal. What do we got? I don't really have a good feel for what this is going to look like. There was just extreme value in some of these places. All right. Wow. Not the first name I was expecting either. LaMelo Ball, Kiefer Sykes, Giddey, Dwayne Washington, Hero, Caleb Martin, Christian Wood, Scotty Barnes, Nikola Jokic. Or you can drop down 0.2 of a point, turn Josh Giddey into Nas Little, and Scotty Barnes into Miles Turner, which I actually think that I would want to do. Nothing too egregious there. I think it all makes sense. Let's look at the power rankings. Oh man, I should have been drinking that water for a while. That tastes good. Well, it's looking like Kiefer Sykes is going to be the top play today. That's something. We're going to get DraftKings loaded up here. All right. FanDuel Power Rankings. Kiefer Sykes at the top of the list. Dwayne Washington, Nas Little, Kevin Porter, Norm Powell, Gary Trent, Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry, Trey Lyles, Christian Wood, Hamidou Diallo, LaMelo Ball, Scotty Barnes, Cade Cunningham. That's everybody 15% or higher. Very flat for today. DraftKings now. DraftKings Optimal. Kiefer Sykes, Anthony Simons, Caleb Martin, Domantas Sabonis. Yeah, I said it. Christian Wood, Dwayne Washington, Nas Little, Nikola Jokic. I think that makes a ton of sense across the board. You could drop down 0.4 of a point. We would turn Domantas Sabonis and Dwayne Washington into Tyler Hero and Norm Powell. Actually, I think I like that second lineup a little bit more. But it looks good. I'm happy with both of those. Nothing too crazy. I think it's following exactly what we would have been expecting here. DraftKings Power Rankings. Alrighty. We're about there. It's so close at the top, but it looks like Kiefer Sykes is going to be your number one guy on DK. Nas Little, second. Christian Wood, third. Anthony Simons, fourth. Caleb Martin, fifth. Dwayne Washington, Trey Lyles, Norm Powell. That's everybody north of 15%. It's flat today, guys. It's really, really flat from a priority perspective. Let's close it out with Yahoo. Thank God we've got a short slate tomorrow, man. I'm going to have to rest the voice after this one. We've got Contenders and strategy show coming up a little bit later. Don't think I'm actually playing this slate. I haven't cooked dinner for my wife in a pretty long time. So taking off an 11 gamer feels like the most likely scenario. Gives me a chance to hang out in the kitchen for a bit, get some food cooked. Yahoo Optimal. We've got 2 of them at 309.2. Simons, Korkmaz, who I actually forgot was going to be a decent play. Bradley Beal, Nas Little, Wendell Carter Jr., Sabonis, Gafford, and Turner. Or we swap out, oh man, all sorts of bits here. So Wendell Carter Jr. and Furkan Korkmaz for Denny Avdia and Tyler Hero. Both of those lineups project the same. And then finally, power rankings on Yahoo. Ken, not sure what you mean by what happened to Gafford. Do you mean just like why aren't you seeing him more? It's just a center thing. There's too many of them. There's just too many really good center options. What's for dinner? I haven't thought about it yet. Probably going to throw something on the smoker. Maybe some sort of chicken. It failed last time. I'm hoping it goes a little bit better here. All right. Yahoo power rankings, and then we're getting out of here because I've been talking too much. Nas Little is the unquestioned number 1 option. I assume his price is just like broken. Yeah, $13. Makes sense. Nas Little is 1. Sabonis 2. Sykes, Kuzma, Turner, Gafford, Caleb Martin, Yurt 7. That's everybody north of 15%. Woo! That's a marathon, folks. That is a marathon. We started this bad boy at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time. It is now 8:12. We've been going for an hour and 42 minutes, and the show grew the entire time because this is the best one on the planet. Thank you guys for being here. Hit that like button if you haven't done it already. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engelman. Strategy show coming up at 10 o'clock with Adam. We're going to have a lot to dig into, lots to talk about. Good luck tonight, everybody. This is The Process.